You're fighting to save an ideal that doesn't exist. Never did. You need to pick a side.
Hello and welcome back to We Bought a Mic, a pop culture podcast.
Bum, bum.
Should you choose to accept
Bum,
it.
bum, bum, bum.
Today we're talking the new film from Thomas Cruise, Christopher McQuarrie, and a whole bunch of other people. It's time for Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Mission : Impossible - Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Mission. Yes, that is the correct full title. Mission :
yes.
Impossible - Dead Reckoning Part 1.
We're here. We've arrived. We're going to get into it.
We did it.
Welcome. My name's Ernest.
My name's Drew. Actually, no, it's not. Listeners can see. I just took off a mask. Shit, I'm actually Hunter. I'm Ethan Hunt.
Ethan Hunter.
He always goes the hardest route.
I was getting there.
You got to appreciate the grind.
But listen, I'm like the Stephen A. Smith of the podcast of intro bits where like, I'm not going to take the easy bit. I might be like Nick Young as the greatest NBA player of all time.
Just scrolling for any like pawn opportunities.
Nope.
I'm Drew.
Shea Wiggum.
What's there? There's nothing there.
You're
Briggs.
You're honestly, you're the entity of this podcast.
Yeah. How does it feel to be the disembodied
And that,
villain?
like, you've haunted me my entire life, whether I knew it or not.
Yeah.
And I'm Rob Delaney.
Oh, nice. Admiral.
JSOC. So proud of our guy.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, he killed it.
Yeah, really could have been anyone delivering those lines.
But listen, you know what? I chuckled harder because it was Rob Delaney saying them.
Mm-hmm.
So we've arrived. This movie, long in the making. It's been 5 years since the last Mission movie, since Fallout. Through so much COVID delays. I was just scanning the Wikipedia. It's nuts. The amount of trouble that this movie had. Like, it is a miracle that this movie is out in theaters right now. They started filming it in Italy as soon as the pandemic was like raging in 2020 in Italy. And
which then led to like the iconic Tom Cruise.
we are the gold standard.
If I catch you again, you're done. You're done.
I'm on the phone with every producer looking at us. So they went through hell to make this thing. I think the budget ballooned to the point where it is now like one of the most expensive films ever made. And that's not to mention, how hard these movies are to make in the first place with all the practical stunts and shooting on location. But I think that they ended up shutting down because of COVID like 4 or 5 times total.
Something like that. Yeah. That's the reason why I think originally this movie was probably going to cost about 200 mil.
It's like 300.
And now it's about 300 mil. But on the bright side, unlike a movie that we're not doing a full episode about, this movie will still be profitable because Mission Impossible movies have legs. They tend to play well with repeat viewings. Unlike a movie like Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, which is just going to like lose over $100 million, like just lighting hundreds of millions of dollars on fire.
Yeah. I mean,
that's what Indy would do.
Yeah. He'll show them.
He doesn't care about that shit.
We'll get into it, but this movie shares a lot of similarities with Indiana Jones and also with Fast X.
Yes, we're going to get into the trio of blockbuster action adventure movies that have come out so far this summer.
I was simply shocked at how closely it resembles some of the sequences. Like with Fast X, you know, you got the Rome thing. With Indiana Jones, you got the train. But it's astounding how much better this movie is in every single possible way to those movies. So I hope that we'll look back and see, you know, both from a critical and a financial perspective, a clear divide from the mission types and the indie Fast X types. Because I think going into this summer, we maybe assumed that audiences would turn out in droves for things like The Flash and Indiana Jones. I was predicting Indiana Jones would do a lot better than it did, and not just because I picked it for the Fantasy Film League.
I didn't think fucking anyone was going to see Indiana Jones.
I don't know.
I thought it was going to do better than it did. I didn't think it was going to be smash hits, but to your point, I thought Little Mermaid was going to be the highest grossing movie of the summer. I thought that people were just going to come out, eat their spoonfuls of garbage, eat their slop, and just go on with their lives. Yeah. And this summer has been
surprising,
so fascinating.
The
for
Flash
what is happening.
The Flash is one of the most fascinating things for me, because it really looked like that movie was just going to be the clock in, clock out nerd movie of the summer. Like, oh, you know, we have to go eat the slop, right? It's tanking so fucking hard. It is going to lose Warner's like hundreds of millions of dollars. And so it's almost like it's a bad idea to say before your $250 million movie comes out, oh yeah, this one doesn't matter because we're going to do a whole reset after the next movie. What fucking person thought that was a good idea, that in advance of this hundreds of millions of dollar costing movie, we're going to tell people this is an inessential one? And now it's looking, you know, this is July. It's hotter than July in this fucking pod studio. We're sweating it out. We're feeling the heat, you know, giving you the show that you need. Mm-hmm. We're basically Tom Cruise right literally now. The same as the same. Mm-hmm. And it's looking like, as we're kind of in the mid to late stages of the summer, like, people are not going to see bad movies. Like, it's not that complicated. If you make a good movie, people will go see it. And we're on the eve now of Barbenheimer. Literally, as we record this podcast tonight, people are at the theater experiencing Barbenheimer. But again, we're here for you, for the audience. We're not partying with Ken. We're not getting blown up with Oppie. We're gonna talk Mission, and it's looking like those movies are getting the critical acclaim and that they're going to do well financially. And I think Mission is kind of still in this limbo a little bit because it's about to get trounced a little bit by Barbenheimer. And I'm hoping that it is able to kind of stay afloat and doesn't completely get overshadowed and people, you know, turn out to see it, because it's a great movie. It's a really great movie. I don't think it's going to do great numbers this weekend. I think it's going to come in pretty firmly at third. I don't think it's a hot take or anything, but every Mission Impossible movie sits in the top 5 for like a month and a half, 2 months. And I think that this is going to be a similar thing, because the reviews of this are good. We haven't said anything one way or another about this movie. It's good. It's fucking awesome. This movie rules. It continues on being the most consistent and best franchise that we have by a pretty decent mile at this point. I think it might be the worst of the McQuarries. Whoa. I think it might be I think I'd go Fallout, Rogue, Dead Reckoning Part 1. But that still makes it like the third best Mission movie total. That's what I was going to say by that metric, it's still third or fourth in this series that gives some of the best movies ever. And I think that or I should say some of the best action adventure movies ever, espionage movies, whatever you want to call them. I think that it was almost an impossible task following up Fallout. Like, it's a thing that's, I think that Miller is going to struggle with the Furiosa movie, is whenever you have such a titanic achievement of action filmmaking like Mission Impossible Fallout,
how the fuck do you follow that up? You cannot go any bigger than Fallout. And I was almost worried going into this because there was all the marketing of the big, everybody's seen it now at this point. Tom Cruise rides a motorcycle off a cliff. And I was fucking couldn't wait for that. We'll talk about that scene in the movie. But like, while that stuff is incredible, I didn't want to just see them trying to just one up themselves. I wanted to see a little bit of a reset. And this movie is exactly that.
Yes.
It got back to the Mission Impossible espionage roots that made it special in the first place.
It feels like a throwback to the first movie in so many ways. And we'll get into some specifics, but that was kind of my biggest takeaway is like it's not trying to redo Fallout. It's not trying to just make that same movie again, which I think in hindsight, like kind of makes Fallout look better. You know, I revisited that movie this week and I think that there was a part of me back when that movie came out that still saw the ceiling lower than it actually was. And now that I've seen Dead Reckoning,
the first hour of that movie is like
it's perfection.
It's one of the best things I've ever seen in my life.
Now I think in comparison, you know, I think this movie's a little shaggier. It's a little, you know, you can kind of see some of the stitching here and there a little bit more. Fallout, I think in comparison, just looks and feels just leaner and meaner and just kind of more the details are finer in Fallout. And I love Fallout, or what am I saying? Rogue Nation, all the names blend together. Rogue Nation is like a personal favorite for me.
Same.
So I have to put that one number 2. But I think McQuarrie, you know, this is the third movie in the series, and I feel like he gets it and he understands that, like, okay, I need to try something a little bit different for my third one. I can't just keep doing the same thing. And yeah, we'll get into the specifics, but Drew, I want you to chime in. What's your overall take?
It's very good. I don't have the connection to Mission Impossible movies that you two do. I really only care for the McQuarrie movies.
The good ones.
Yeah, which I think is frankly a valid take to have on the series. Like if you don't have nostalgia for the first bunch, there's not a ton to grab onto.
I would push back just on the first one because the first one is still it's a De Palma movie. There's some serious crap there.
I revisited that one and that one jumped up my rankings a little bit.
Generally, this is a really good movie, especially considering it sort of is balancing two things because, like you said, it's harkening back to the beginning, and it's almost simplifying things in a way. And yet this is definitely the most complicated, big, like villain, if you want to call it that the series has ever dealt with.
The plots of these are always very convoluted, and they started to get so convoluted that it became a joke in the movie how convoluted they would get. And these movies, you know, you can read it online a lot about how McQuarrie and Cruise make these movies, and they figure out the stunts first and then kind of stitch a plot together later.
Yeah. McQuarrie
that goes back to Mission Impossible 2. They did that before. John Woo was like the first one who's like, I have these ideas of I want to start with Tom Cruise fucking
climbing,
free soloing a mountain, and then I want to have this
that movie's ridiculous.
Chase, this car
motorcycle.
Chase. I cannot wait for us in our Tom series to talk about that movie because that movie is the most 2000 movie ever made. It's such a ridiculous movie. It's incredible.
Yeah, and it's McQuarrie, generally speaking, that is his style of writing, like regardless of
on the fly.
Regardless of writing around stunts, he's very dialogue heavy. Like fucking Usual Suspects is a super talky fucking movie that's so obsessed with its own intricacies, and he is like that. I like writers that are like that, and I don't think that I think that there are a ton of similarities between him and someone like Chris Nolan, funny enough. Because they both feel the need to write their way out of corners a lot of the time. I'll say that. And I think it stuck out a lot more in something, I want to say Rogue Nation, where there are so many fucking scenes where it's just people being like, actually, I have the upper hand because blah, 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 and like 2 minutes pass, and then the other person's like, oh, you think, and then they they pull the fucking mask off or whatever. And that, that's a hallmark of these movies in general anyway, is like the unexpected power dynamic shift. But I think this movie gets so much right that like leaving the theater, it leaves you on a fucking high. Like it leaves you feeling great.
The finale is
despite being distinctly a part one still, which again, we said this about Spider-Verse part one, which I'll personally I think is like well better than this movie, but they both have that key element like down where like it's a part one but you can't leave saying that you didn't get a whole movie.
Right. Yeah. You're satisfied still.
Yeah. Like you just ate that fucking train sequence. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you ate plenty.
I think it helps that this is, especially I've been rewatching these just like here and there. I think that this might be the best third act of any Mission Impossible movie.
I think, yeah.
Like,
I mean, but Fallout is fucking amazing.
Fallout's also unbelievable. Fallout almost has a thing where it goes so big so early on that by the end you're like out of breath. It's like at the last like half mile of a race or something like that where you're like, Jesus, oh my God, we're still going. Where it's incredible. It's so thrilling. But I think that is one thing where the entire setup of this movie, especially with Haley Atwell's character and her joining the Force, which
are we going to be able to be civilized?
I'm rubbing my hands together already.
We are gentlemen.
Backing up a step, the clout that Tom Cruise has, that he's just like, you know what? I'm going to get the most beautiful women in the world, and I'm going to have all of them just like be so helplessly in love with me.
Yeah. Despite his swollen visage.
Hey,
he's looking rough. But
Tom Cruise he's entering something that we can only call, and I don't want to compare the two distinctly, but I'll call it the Joe Biden zone, where they look a lot better with aviators on. Yeah.
Here's the thing. You guys are wrong. Tom Cruise is so sexy in this movie. He is hot. He is a hot grandpa.
It's been better.
They have McQuarrie. That's why he should get best director. He does some work to get the right angles on Tom.
Yeah, sometimes they put the camera a little too close, and we're like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, it's like
let's back it up a little.
I'm just saying. I think that he is still the hottest man alive. I think that he could have been Ken now with no makeup.
Well, so shout out to Adam and Joe. I was sitting in between them. I had to break them up because there's beef.
They were
this had to be a boys' night. We couldn't fall into our old ways. And I was telling him after the movie ended that like I feel like Tom Cruise is going to redefine like what it means to be old. I think we're entering like a new era of old. Well, this is uncharted waters of oldness.
I know
we've never seen anything like this before.
So I know there is a 20-year difference between the two, so it's not a fair comparison. But it's so funny watching Tom Cruise in this versus Harrison Ford in Indiana Jones. Because Indiana Jones, it doesn't matter how good the CGI is, which in some scenes it's not very good, but it doesn't matter how good the CGI gets. You can't stop the way that old men move their bodies. Yeah. Like old men just move a certain way. And Tom Cruise
still has those skinny little hips.
Run, man. When he is running on top of the airport, it's just he's still the best runner that has ever existed in movies.
Yeah, like, he's like if he was in the NFL, he'd be Christian McCaffrey. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we found out his parents were both like Olympic like sprinters or something.
It's unbelievable.
He has the body type.
But
hey man, Scientology. There's something there.
I'm just saying, like, maybe it's not so bad. I don't know. If I can look like that when I'm in my 60s, then shit. I do think that it's one thing that I think Tom was in this really weird period between, like, especially in, I want to say, like, the late aughts, early 2010s, where, and it's a little bit in the 90s, where Tom Cruise doesn't really have chemistry with anyone.
Yeah.
I think that that's something that he has struggled with here and there throughout his career. I will say
here and there.
Here
like
and there.
Every movie.
I don't see. I disagree.
Here and there.
Yeah,
he has struggled with.
I disagree.
That's going to be a recurring theme in the series. Is like
I think it's spotty, but I will say, as Ethan Hunt in these movies, he has chemistry with every woman in this fucking franchise.
Well, because there's no time to slow down and like get to know each other.
Right.
It's just like base level attraction, and then like we gotta fucking go. Like, we gotta get the fuck out of here.
He has
I'll
like
take you.
the physical connection with her. I mean, fucking Rebecca Ferguson, which that is a carryover from Rogue Nation and Fallout. Their connection with each other is unbelievable.
Atwell, I think is a great actress. She's
really good in this.
Yeah, I've always liked her. It's a classic. I think that she's had a kid or two, so she's been sort of, she's been in and out of like working in Hollywood, but she's great. Like,
she's so good.
She's really, really good. And I mean, I know that you stan Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Isn't that her show?
Agent Carter.
Is she Agent Carter?
She got her own show called Agent Carter, which ran for 1 season on ABC.
Sick.
And it was good.
I know. Yeah, I just knew that you watched it. She really rocks, and she gets a lot of screen time in the movie, and I was thrilled with it.
Like, there's a chunk of this movie where Tom Cruise is like gone from the movie.
Yeah, and it's just like, we're gonna let Haley Atwell just kind of carry the load here, and she does.
Well, also shout out to Vanessa Kirby.
I was gonna say,
we'll talk about the circumstances.
Have to do like a spoilers section.
But also, again, so I didn't realize until like rewatching Fallout, or I guess I forgot in my head that Vanessa Kirby plays the daughter of Max from the first Mission Impossible. That was the whole thing with Fallout. Yeah. I forgot that part because as much as this is like my favorite franchise ever, some of the plot mechanics are a little bit secondary.
Well, I guarantee you that was something that they like added in the editing.
Absolutely.
Like they did not know that when they were shooting it.
Well, they might have figured that out because they're like, well, we cast Vanessa Kirby, and then like after effect, you're like, you know who else was a British like woman who had like maybe might have fucked Tom Cruise at some point or fucked Ethan Hunt. Yeah. Max. So we'll just like add that in there after the fact and everything else. Vanessa Kirby and Tom Cruise have immaculate chemistry, and Fallout and in this, where it's just like they have such a thing where it's like, did she fuck John Lark? Like, what happened with their whole thing that they got going on there? I don't know what's happening.
I love our boy Tom. I'm gonna go ahead and say that whether or not he has chemistry with an actress depends on how good of an actress the actress is, because they're carrying a lot of the fucking load. Yeah, chemistry
that's a good point.
Like, and these are really good actresses that we're dealing with in this movie.
Also, shout out to Palm Clemente. Also in there, like all the women in this movie are gorgeous. They're all so talented.
He even rizzes her up a little bit.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Number one pick for me is Rebecca Ferguson. Like, dude, I rewatched Rogue Nation. The Vienna opera sequence with that yellow dress.
Oh man,
I can't. I'm having trouble talking. I can't. I am just a humble man.
I feel like the balance of this podcast is way off if you get horny. I don't think you're allowed to do that.
You have to hold us back, Ernie. Otherwise, like, we got to call Lee in here as like a neutral mediator for all the boys sitting out here.
She'd probably get upset if you told her you were into like an Irish lady.
Hey, she's the mom from Dune, so she knows.
Facts.
Yeah. She's full on mommy in Dune.
No, she's again is good at acting.
Yeah.
Very good.
So yeah, we're dealing with a lot of love interests all stacking up here, and then we have the classic gang behind Tommy.
Yeah.
Peg and Rames.
Yeah. I mean, at 2:45 runtime, it's hard to balance out all these characters.
It is,
and I fear that Simon Pegg and Ving Rhames sometimes just don't. There's just not enough of them as you want.
There's a whole other movie that I'm sure has plenty. Mm-hmm. There's also an argument to be made of how much do you want to give Ving.
I think there's one shot of him walking.
Wait,
I clocked it because I rewatched the movie.
Because that's a whole bit for like Ving Rhames is only in Mission Impossible movies and he's always sitting down. Yeah. Ving Rhames hasn't stood up in 10 years.
Yeah, he is he doesn't. He's not like an operating actor.
Yeah.
Like he's
the guy in the chair.
And also they're not playing to his strengths a lot of the time with this script.
Are you saying that
I didn't want to say it,
Ethan? You're playing fourth dimensional chess with an algorithm.
So
are you kidding me?
No, here's the thing.
That's
So
who wrote that? Was
so
that
when we left the theater, I couldn't stop saying that for like 3 days. You're playing 4-dimensional chess with an algorithm, because I was like, man, that just isn't a line for Ving. But then I was like, well, what actor is gonna like find the truth in that read? Like what?
Yeah, it's
what
Ving.
actor on
That's what
earth
you
is
have
gonna
Ving
be like,
Rhames
oh,
there for.
I have the right read for you're playing 4-dimensional chess with an
Also,
algorithm.
Ving is fine. Ving hasn't acted in another movie aside from Mission Impossible
He's
in
chilling.
like 10 years.
Yeah,
He's
and
like
it's
traveled the world.
what I'm saying is it's not a situation like fucking Goodfellas guy who came back for The Irishman,
Pesci.
Joe Pesci. It's not a Joe Pesci thing where he just like doesn't fuck with Hollywood. It's like a yeah, there's some people you'd pick over Ving most of the time.
Yeah.
That said, he shines in one particular monologue in this movie that I thought, if that monologue fell flat, I think I would feel very differently about this movie. And he comes through as sort of the heart and soul of the operation. And it's really
When he talks to Ethan, right?
It's right before Ethan leaves for his impossible mission. That is a phenomenally written monologue. It's sort of a microcosm of a lot of what McQuarrie is able to do when he's at his best, which is combine a lot of exposition and almost like future telling with heart.
Yeah.
Like it like that it's such a dual purpose scene that like my eyes were almost watering as I'm watching a guy technically dump exposition.
Right.
So I was just like, good job. It like he's almost overtly stating the themes of the movie.
Which happens a lot in these movies.
in a way that doesn't come across as just like pandering or anything like that. It does. Watching this made me wish that I could have like that there was a way to go back and look at Top Gun Maverick and say like this was Kaczynski, this was McQuarrie, this was who, like figure out who contributed what. I know it was probably much more of a collaborative thing of them all kind of working with each other, but mixing the action with that emotionality, having that kind of the exposition-y type stuff not come across as just like turn your brain off for the next
which
90
you can
seconds.
still do and enjoy the movie.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You don't have to understand the plot mechanics and the character motivations to come away from this movie having a good time.
Well, yeah. In fact, there are some that I wish I didn't key in on because like there's plenty of stupid in the movie.
It's a silly movie.
It's a Mission Impossible.
Looney Tunes movie.
These movies are dumb.
Yeah.
Like, they super are. And like it not just in terms of that, because that you could still be like dumb and in my book be a 10 out of 10 movie, but like there are things that just don't quite land how I wish they did plot mechanic wise. Like they didn't land everything with the villain art type situation.
It's a little
that's
bloated.
something. So the villain stuff is like the one thing, and there's one they retcon Ethan's origins his pre-IMF thing, which you were like, is that from the first movie? And I was like, no, that's something that's completely new.
That really like that upset me. That almost took like a half star off the movie for me. That it was like, so what? So to me that means that they tried to get someone from an early movie that actually mattered, and they didn't secure them.
No, the thing is that like, because I think they wanted it to be a character death, but you can't do Michelle Monaghan because we saw from Fallout she's still like alive and well.
Who's the first lady who died because of Ethan? Like,
so I think we just
she dies in Mission Impossible.
We just need to decide if we're gonna do like a separate spoiler section.
So she dies in the first movie. Who kills her?
Jim Phelps.
Yeah,
who played by John Voight.
So we can spoil Mission Impossible 1. But
that movie did come out in 1996. I was gonna say, I am sorry, folks.
So, okay, how do I say this without? Let's just do the spoiler marker here. So we're gonna start to get into the actual details of the villain and all of the character stuff. We love the movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say, still, like, despite any kind of like nits that I have to pick with this movie, don't get it twisted. This is probably gonna be like by a healthy margin the best like action blockbuster that you will see this summer.
It's a great time at the movies.
It does.
You won't regret the good time that it gives.
I think it's the movie I've seen this year that most requires you to go to the movies. Like, it's
big, it's fun,
it's loud.
It exciting, thrilling.
Yeah, exactly. In a theater, I left just absolutely buzzing on this fucking movie.
It also, I'll restate it. It just feels like a throwback to the first one. So if you're feeling like maybe you want something a little bit different out of these movies, I think it does a good job at giving you something that's not exactly the same as Fallout.
Yeah, it's not
Rogue
just playing the
Nation.
hits.
It is doing something different. Let's get into spoilers.
This is a long-running, storied franchise, and this movie in particular is driving home the idea that any woman who gets too close to Ethan dies.
Yeah.
And
I think there's some trouble.
And
there.
in order to drive that point home, they feel the need to flash back frequently to something that isn't from a previous movie.
So
they feel that's crazy.
Hold on. Here, this is what I was going to say. So the whole thing with this movie is that Ethan Hunt is facing off against an AI. That's the entire plot of this movie. So we're going to talk about all these ways that conflict influences everything that happens in this movie. But that piece means that you can't have Ethan go up against a faceless villain. You need an actual person. So the Issa Morales character is a physical embodiment of that threat. So what they have to do is they're faced with an impossible choice where they're like, we have this character that's just a vessel for another character. So how do we make that character actually mean something to Ethan?
It's a hard thing to solve. It is, but
I feel like this was the best.
It is.
Yeah, it's because the problem is
you can't like, you're not going to get fucking John Voight. He's crazy mode and he's old as hell.
He died in the first movie.
So it's just.
Also, yeah, I'm good not having to reinterrogate John Voight.
I know
politics.
it's just like, if the impetus of that monologue that Ving gives, for example, is like, there's a reason he chose that guy, and like Tom's character really feels that. We don't feel it because we have zero experience with this man. This is the first time
we've met him.
We know him as a really bland guy.
Yeah,
like it's not like he's giving anything in particular with his performance. Like, it's very just like, yeah, I'm really representing something else. Like, he's not doing anything. He's acting very broadly. Like, and I think that's probably by design, because like, how else would you act if there's no history with you and you are representing, you're the physical embodiment of something that would, in a vacuum, would act like a fucking robot. There's not a way to solve it. I agree.
Yeah,
there's not a way.
Because the problem is that it makes sense why he exists there. One, because you got to have the tie-in. It all has to come back to Ethan, because at the end of the day, this AI is going to become like unstoppable and is going to take over the world, except for one man can stop it.
Yeah.
And so Ethan Hunt is the main character. He is the main character of this entire universe.
Right.
So it all has to come back. Like, literally, like, that's what it is. He is the soul savior. He is the Jesus Christ, the messianic figure.
He saved the earth from
the fucking
nuclear
cruciform
apocalypse.
He is quite literally the messiah of this universe.
Talk about fucking Fast and Furious parallels there.
So because of that, it has to link up to like, this is the one man who could break Ethan. Ethan is always going to do the right thing, but like, we have to touch into Ethan's soul.
In an ideal world, if this franchise as a whole had been strong from the beginning, they would have been able to pull someone that we know to do this.
Oh, Brian De Palma didn't make this planning on
They get fucking Kit Rich.
Yeah.
Who it hasn't been
Henry
in these
Tierney.
movies since the first one, which I think, he's not the main bad guy. He's not the.
I love that guy.
He's incredible. He's the best.
He was one of my favorite actors in the whole movie.
He's really good. Before we get off of Gabriel, what I latched onto was not Gabriel being a part of Ethan's past. I totally agree with that complaint, because the movie doesn't do enough to make you feel like Ethan is impacted by this guy.
Yeah, and he has to be, because that's why the AI chose.
I get
him.
that.
Yeah.
But to me, what I gravitated towards was the AI. Like, I have been really freaked out about ChatGPT. And I've been really trying hard to understand it and wrap my head around like this AI boom that we're experiencing in our society right now and what it means. And these movies, there's never like a thematic through line with these movies other than like Ethan Hunt is great and he loves his friends and they go on adventures and save the world.
This is a movie about friendship. They all are just about like, I love my friends.
Family.
You know what?
When Simon Pegg tells
he's
the
like, what's the most important thing? My friends. I was like, oh, I want to give him a hug.
Bing's like, man, I don't give a fuck about this guy. What are you talking about?
I'm out of here. This is the first time where I felt like, much like Maverick, how Maverick is about Tom Cruise being the last movie star and the only person who can do this. This is a movie about how we need to fight against AI and how it's going to swallow everything up. And Tom Cruise is the only person that can push against this artificial humanless.
So that's
I
true.
I think that more so than we have to fight up against it, I think that is Tom Cruise and McQuarrie saying AI will never be able to do this.
Exactly.
This is actively, that's one of the things that honestly has resonated the most with me after seeing it a second time, after just like thinking about it, is that while it's fucking timely. We haven't talked about it specifically in depth, but with the strike, with the writers, with the actor strike. After this movie came out, the Screen Actors Guild went on strike, and one of the biggest pieces,
biggest,
at least the most troublesome piece that the AFTPA was pushing up against is they wanted, instead of having a day player come in, have a background actor come in and pay them for each day that they come in to perform, paying them a day rate, which by the way is $130. That's what a day rate is. You get paid once for $130. They scan your face and they now have your rights to your likeness in perpetuity forever.
And no other studio can hire you.
And without your consent,
Because
they
they
can
don't
just
own your
throw
face.
they can throw your face in anything for the next 100,000 years. It doesn't matter.
Shout out to Fran Drescher out there.
That's
Hey, in the
fucking
fight.
horrifying. That is like one of the scariest things yet to come out of AI. And the fact that this movie is actively saying, no, fuck that. You know what AI can't do? AI can't ride a motorcycle off
Let's
a cliff
fucking
and
go.
onto a moving plane.
It also-
Like, that's what AI can't do. AI cannot write these scenarios can happen. AI can't write the chemistry that these actors are having with each other on the screen.
I think the other part of it too is just, I think this movie does a really good job of setting up the stakes and the threat of AI. The opening scene of the movie shows us what it can do. It tricks the submarine that the AI is on to destroy itself, to sink itself. What a way to start this movie. What a completely different way to start
Very
a
like
Mission
solemn
Impossible.
way to start an MI movie.
Yeah.
It's also it's very 90s.
Very
like
Hunt for Red October.
Yeah,
and the
that
ads.
entire sequence is just super 90s. The timing of the submarine is just kismet with what's going on, submarine wise in
Were
the
you
world.
were you upset, Drew? Did you see
Oh,
those
shit.
guys and you're like, man, I really hope that they make it. These nameless,
I know,
faceless
it's just
Russian
a bunch of fucking
soldiers.
dudes just going like vodka potato. Like it was
Our
bad
submarine
acting.
has gone completely unnoticed by any radars.
But I feel like that scene does a really good job. It's a hard thing to put into the movie, and we can talk about like the part 2 of it all, because they had a cut of this movie without that scene. And they apparently, the talk is that they did test screenings and people were like, why should I care about this fucking key? This whole movie is about a key.
No, I
So-
cannot imagine. This movie
Did it
has to
just-
open on establishing the key as mattering. Otherwise, the whole movie doesn't make any fucking
So
sense.
it probably then it started with the pizza delivery guy showing up to Ethan,
Or probably just
delivering the thing, and
Ilsa
then
in the desert. Probably just Ilsa in the desert. And then you get caught up on that
and then you
later.
get the green smoke scene.
It's just, yeah, that would be nuts. Like, it definitely needed that scene. That was a great device to tell the story. There's also on this whole AI as a villain tip, there's a very overtly political read on it that would have
the need to control it.
well, no, not just that. It would have hit so hard if this movie had come out in like 2016, because it's about like a technology in the hands of the Russians that has the ability to change the truth and therefore
On the
control
internet.
global politics. Yeah, that was one of the biggest storylines of 2016 was like Russian bots influencing the election.
Which is just like a throwaway line in this movie. But I think that's, as silly as that scene is with all of these people like saying one line of exposition, it does it does a good job of like
It has disappeared.
setting up.
That was like that was like French. What was that? Oh, oui.
I'm talking about the intelligence meeting.
Oh, yeah.
Where each person they definitely rehearse, like, I'm going to say this line, and then you're going to say the next line.
So I hate it when that happens in movies.
But it's Mission Impossible.
I know, that's the thing is I'm watching it and I'm
Also,
like, okay, you can do it.
Who was it who plays the CIA
Delaney
director?
It's Carrie Elwes.
Carrie Elwes,
dude.
that's who it is. Yeah. No, Carrie Elwes is just going, huh? What?
Tell me
what
more.
did they do? Tell me more. Like, it's just his
It's a
job in that
mission
scene is just to
like,
ask questions.
I know.
You need these scenes, and they have fun with it. Like, if you're gonna do
it's goofy.
an exposition dump, might
Yeah.
as well bring in fucking Rob Delaney and the girl from Game of Thrones,
And it just-
and fucking
It forces him to shoot it dynamically as well because it's like every one sentence is spoken by like 8 people.
Yeah.
So it's him
Well-
having to go like shoo, like whip pan to this guy to be like, which means shoo.
And once again, this is one of the first of many callbacks to the original Mission Impossible, where this scene in particular is cut so much like how Brian De Palma cuts the exposition scenes in the first Mission
Especially
Impossible.
when Tom
super
comes
close
in.
up in low and then Dutch angles. Like, that is just one of the biggest things.
Do you
want
to talk about Dutch angles, Hunter?
Um,
Are you ready?
Here's the thing. I like them when they're in good movies and by good filmmakers.
Okay.
I don't like whenever you're trying to add craft to the first Thor movie.
Okay.
That's where I'll stand on that.
All right.
See Kenneth Lonergan soon.
Because there's a lot of Dutch
your...
angles in this movie. I was worried about you.
No, see, I don't mind Dutch angles whenever they're actually there's craft and purpose behind them. When it's just like a Dutch angle while a guy's walking towards camera and it serves no purpose, then it's more of just like, oh, cool. I took film school 101 class.
Hunter, that is a valid measured take, and we appreciate having you on this podcast. Unlike Danny,
are you trying to do a makeup for last week?
We should have opened with an apology.
Is the poll?
You know what?
Is the poll still open?
Let's put this back at the front, Ernest. I want you guys both to give me an apology because you went back and you decided that So Much for Stardust is actually the best.
Hunter, you're currently winning the poll.
Yeah,
so that's the apology.
Because I have good opinions on things, and my opinions are right and just.
Will you edit over that to be like, yeah, because I have bots.
I have artificial intelligence. I am Gabriel.
Yeah. the entity has entered the weboughtamic Twitter.
Did you guys like the sound effects of, the entity has to be visualized by like a 2004 visualizer?
Yeah. I thought that kind of sucked. The way that they choose, it's just, and the thing is, like, most of the time it does in movies because it's hard to do that. The only person who's done it excellently, I would say, is devs.
Yes, that was so creepy.
Some of the look and sound are both.
Yeah, it's like white noise.
It's among the best visual and sound design I've ever seen in my life. And you can't expect that all the time.
Well, the thing that sells it here is Tom. Like, there's just so many shots of Tom looking like bewildered and terrified, where it's just like, now I'm worried.
I think that the whole idea of AI, because I feel like at the end of the day, AI, one of the things that this movie is grappling with, and a lot of people are grappling with, is as AI becomes more and more developed, it's going to take away things like free will, things like choice. And that ties in perfectly with something that McQuarrie has just been really, really hyper focused in on with these 3 movies, is the whole idea of your mission should you choose to accept it. Like, really, what is the choice that you have?
You just leave word.
Even whenever, you leave where, like, this movie, the first time we see Tom, it's just like, you made the right choice talking to a new recruit to join this.
Yeah.
Well, the whole thing with Haley Atwell is that, like, you're going to be left with a choice. Like, and AI is actively working against that. So that's one of the things that, like, I think
I didn't even think of that. That's awesome.
That's one of the biggest things I've been thinking about with this movie, and like why AI is such a fascinating character of. We'll see if Dead Reckoning Part 2 is the last Mission Impossible movie with Tom Cruise. I actually think he'd be kind of fucking insane to leave this franchise at this point. Like,
what is he gonna do?
And also, it's leaving like hundreds of millions of dollars on the table. Like, not like he needs it, but still.
No, yeah. I mean, it's just like, he's a psycho. He can't do anything.
Which is great for our entertainment.
But he's like one of those, like, he's like Dianne Feinstein. Like, he'll be doing it until he physically can't, and then he'll still keep doing it a little bit.
Yeah.
So
He's gonna be like last year Tom Brady, where it's like, should he have just retired?
and it's like, well, he looks good as a team.
and then it's just, and then like a couple months will pass by, and people will be like, well, what? He's better than fucking like half these other people, so why not?
My whole thing about like him redefining old age, it's like his whole thing, like the sequence in Fallout where he does the Halo jump, they designed that mask just so you could see his
see that
face.
was Tom
That was a
Cruise.
custom mask, so you could see that he was doing it. Halo jumpers don't wear that shit. They cover up to protect themselves. So it's like I'm watching this movie and I'm like, all the scenes when we have this incredible car chase in Rome, and there's a moment where he's on a motorcycle in Rome, and it's like there are shots where the camera is so close so you can see it's literally him and not a stunt double, and we only have so many years left of it looking okay that like a person his age is doing these things, and like that we're
You
that
think the
we feel
AARP is
okay
going to
with
step
it.
in at a certain point?
Yeah, it's like when is it going to cross? Because now it feels like we are currently crossing the line where it's like, are we sure that like we should be that overt with someone that old doing such
But it's
dangerous
so
things?
baked into, like, they very wisely figured out that it is promotional material.
Oh, 100%.
That's yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
it's like going to see a magic show.
Yeah, well, and they're like
you know he's
they
gonna
turned it into
disappear,
like a
and you just gotta see
literal,
how.
like basically a trailer, like featurette thing of talking about the stunt, like
Yeah.
that replaces commercials.
Which, by the way, I love that when the jump actually happens, it's essentially like a throwaway moment, and then like the actual sequence begins.
Well, it also because
like
the thing
best
is.
stuff is after that.
No, so the featurette is cool of him like jumping. He jumps off and everything else. What it doesn't show is he's gonna go through a moving train. Like it's just like these other things.
Yeah.
And they're actually at a certain point running around on a moving train.
Yeah.
They are actually physically on.
There
a
are
train.
behind the scenes shots of them actually on top of that train.
Which is so cool. It is funny though, because what you're talking about, I don't notice it. I don't mind so much of, because I've just accepted that Tom Cruise is going to make these movies until he dies. We're going to see him actively die in a Mission Impossible movie, and that's really cool.
That's Dead Reckoning Part 2.
It won't get leaked for like 18 months somehow until like the
Dude,
premiere.
he's
People
gonna
are like,
go to
yo,
the bottom.
Tom's
He's
dead.
gonna go to the bottom of the sea to the submarine, and like that's radio silence on Tom Cruise.
He's like, I've learned to hold my breath for 45 minutes while I swim down to this submarine in Arctic waters. But I think it's more so funny where I'm thinking of a sequence which might be, if it's not the entire third act, the best scene of the movie, the car chase in Rome,
Yeah.
where him and Haley Atwell are handcuffed
Incredible.
together. Absolutely unbelievable. But it is funny. Somehow I caught this on a rewatch where you see Tom Cruise is driving this car and you just see Haley Atwell's brown hair down because Haley Atwell's like, I'm not sitting in the car while this man is fucking driving around. Like, that's insane. I'm not doing that.
And that was when he decided he wouldn't be marrying her.
Yeah.
they
IRL.
definitely did get some shots of them actually in the car
Oh
driving
yeah, no,
around.
for sure. But it's just like some of the stuff where you can tell where they are actually sliding, like
Yeah.
actually skidding in this tiny little car that Haley's like, I'm good on that.
How do we feel about this Fiat?
It was
it too souped up?
it was pretty funny. I guess I was trying to, I don't know. I was trying to get a grip on like what the bit was going to be there. And it, it becomes a combo
It's
of,
slapstick.
well, yeah, it's a combo of they're handcuffed, which is funny. And then the initial gag of like, he doesn't know how to use these controls,
Yeah.
which I guess
Sorry,
is-
this
I-
never
And
happens.
she's
to me.
like, it's okay. It's okay.
that was funny.
That's
that was
good.
good.
That's good.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, it's all well done.
So this is the part where I need to talk about Fast X, because Fast X has
Has
a
a-
pivotal
A
sequence
big old ball rolls through room.
literally in the exact same
The
location.
staircase.
the steps. And I was like shocked that in the same year we have two movies that essentially basically do the same car chase in the same city. And I mean, I like it in Fast X when big crane
It's-
hit
dumb and
big
fun.
ball.
Yeah, big ball goes rolling down, because Rome is just a hill.
Yeah.
It just keeps going downhill.
Big ball gonna blow up Pope, so Vin have to drive onto Crane to do pinball machine on Big Bomb.
You're kind of making me want to watch it.
Honestly, it's a lot of dumb fun, but there's just so much more real craft. There's so much something like that you can actually reach out and touch in this movie.
Exactly. As fun as that Fast X sequence was, it just does not compare. It's not even close to how exciting this mission scene is and how much you care about the characters and what they're going through. And every beat is like clearly communicated. Every stage of that sequence is clearly plotted out and given time for you to latch on to the geography of everything. And there's moments within moments, so it doesn't feel completely relentless. It's just astounding. And I'll also shout out to the end, the bombs on the bridge when the train goes down, also straight from Fast X.
Yeah,
like I was like, holy shit, this is like the same.
Yeah, and one of them almost makes me just like want to go back and be like, I gotta lower my rating for Fast X now, don't I? Because there's something that's real, like. Fast X, they definitely sent a crew to Rome to shoot B footage.
Vin was probably there.
Sure, okay. They are actually driving.
Not to be in this.
Yeah, they actually were Vin is actually just the true director who took over Fast X halfway through.
He was the second AD.
Yeah. There's something like about this movie where they are fully in Rome and there is a geography to this, and it's not true Roman geography because guess what, if you're just driving down Rome, every shot isn't going to be the most beautiful architecture you've ever seen in your life.
You're not going to see the Colosseum in the background.
In every shot, you just happen to be like always near it, but there's something about the directing and the filmmaking behind it.
You feel they're in a place.
Yes.
They're not just on a green screen.
You could map this out. You can feel that they are actually driving through the streets here. They're getting their shit rocked continuously in this sequence.
You're right. I think that McQuarrie's directing eclipses his writing, and even a few years ago, even a couple MIs ago, that would have been crazy to say because he was known as a writer by trade, and he was known for increasing the quality of the like these. This wasn't a series known for bad directing; it was known for being stupid as fuck.
Yeah.
So the level that he raised the writing is higher than the level he raised the directing, but like he is an A tier. Like I can't name action directors that I would be like, yeah, they're just like flat out better than him in every way.
It must be so fucking hard to make these movies. If I were in his position and I got shut down 4 times, I would give up.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't finish the movie.
Hey, that's why we're not in fucking Hollywood.
Yeah.
Baby. We're not. I don't have that dog in me like that.
Easily I give up on things. No, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Like I think it's him. The easiest comp I think is Stahelski, but I don't know. To me, I know the John Wick movies have so much craft to them, but there's so much more heart to the MI movies than there is in anything in John Wick that I still put these a decent amount above
Tom fucking Cruise.
It's
the king of empathy.
Tom Cruise is a better actor than Keanu Reeves.
Well,
I hate to break that to
I gotta bring up
but
Fallout because one of the key examples of what you're talking about is it struck me rewatching Fallout. There's so much of the Paris sequence where there is no dialogue. Like there are stretches where there is no sound. It's literally just Lorne Balfe's score. And that's the only thing you're hearing for like long stretches of everything that's happening in that chunk of the movie. And it's like, all right,
visual storytelling.
We're not gonna have
Fallout is gonna go down as like the prestige Mission Impossible movie forever. Like it's like it's like high level. Like this movie has too much to do to like go micro on that level, like with every moment, because it's really complicated, the shit they're trying to do.
I think that there is something that is kind of freeing about maybe not so much the plotting, because plotting can get a little bit it can be a little confusing or convoluted, but the dialogue scenes themselves, I think that McQuarrie, because he has been a writer for so long, everybody who's talked about working on these movies, there's a reason they want to come back, is because it's a blast to work on, because McQuarrie is extremely collaborative. Like, I think that it was Haley Atwell who kind of talked about, like, she basically decided her character like on the fly a day of with McQuarrie. It's just like, I'm going to add in these dialogue sequences. We're going to add this kind of stuff in there. And like, they just kind of bounce stuff off of like right there in the moment, which is exactly what you want if you're an actor.
I know, but that is the
writer.
hardest balance you could strike if you're a director who's directing shit that requires the amount of control that this shit requires.
I think it's because, I think it's one of like he's one of the best writer directors that we have, because he's married to visual things that he wants to capture. And he's like, I will not compromise on these things that I see in my head. I want those to show up on the screen, but I'm willing to be collaborative on the in-betweens, on the interstitials that we have.
Yeah, I was going to say he's very compartmentalized between like the action and the dialogue scenes. Like, and some dialogue scenes like count as action in this, where it's like, no, every line of this had to be perfectly like we said, like the government intel scene every line of that had to be like very plotted out because the shots require it. But they're like little back and forths like you can fuck around with. I mean, he did that even going back, he didn't direct, but The Usual Suspects, that movie is most known for the one improvised scene in it. And I would bet you he learned a little something from that, because that movie is famous for the like, get out of the car, you motherfucker, like whatever they're saying in the lineup. And the rest of that movie disappointed me a little bit because it's so insanely written. So I think, I don't know. It's just hard to have such a grip, but then be willing to loosen it.
Yeah,
most people don't have that.
That's why I was saying that this is like high expert level movie making, because I just to bring up Fallout again, like I saw this clip that compared the Halo jump to a similar sequence in the Russo brothers' The Gray Man, a Netflix original film where Ryan Gosling also jumps out of an airplane.
Yeah, by the way, if you haven't listened to our 3-episode series about The Gray Man,
the Gray and Man.
So apparently, like, there's a similar sequence in that movie, and like Ryan Gosling is a fully like CGI created character in that entire sequence. Like,
what, Ryan Gosling?
They didn't even
jump
try.
Out of an airplane?
They didn't even try to like put him in front of a fucking fan or anything.
Who would have guessed that the Russo brothers were fucking nothing without Marvel movies?
And I was watching it and I was thinking, like, imagine that's a Netflix movie that you put on like while you're fucking like doing homework or whatever. Like, you're not actually watching it. Same thing goes for something like Red Notice, which Brett famously told us he put on without facing the screen. He was one of those people that jacked up the rating of like the most widely successfully viewed movie in Netflix history.
More people have seen
Brett like that.
No, well, more people have seen Red Notice than have seen Wizard of Oz, so like we can't forget
ever
that.
in history.
More people have seen fucking Baby Shark than either of those.
So
who cares?
I was thinking about how, like, if you put Red Notice or The Gray Man in movie theaters, if people were to go like take time out of their day
and like
to go
look
to a theater,
hard at it,
like that would be the most bottom of the barrel shit. And you put Mission Impossible up against it, and it just shows you how, like, if that's what you're trying to do, if you're trying to go for that kind of action adventure, high stakes movie making, this is as good as it gets.
Mm-hmm.
This is the top shelf, highest possible outcome of what you can do when you set out to do that.
Yeah, especially when these McQuarrie has established, especially, but it was a hallmark from the beginning of both the genre and this particular series. He almost makes it a game to see how far he can stretch an action sequence. Like it just,
and if Tom is gonna fucking survive.
Yeah. And so, because of that, the train sequence, which it's just an act.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a fucking hour.
Third act. It is the third act.
It's one of my, I agree that it's one of my, like you said, it was what the best third act of any of these.
I think
it's
so.
either this or Fallout.
It's just
because the helicopter's great, but this, I mean, him with Haley Atwell jumping through the fucking train carts, like that's
It's so
fucking
good,
cinema.
man.
especially
so good.
especially if you loop in, like if you lump in everything with her as, you know, with
Vanessa
the mask,
Kirby.
Vanessa
yeah, her
Kirby.
with the mask on in the train, which
with
is
Henry Czerny,
which is really fun to watch. He rocks.
Yeah.
I genuinely, I was
mean,
blown
it's-
away. I was like, who the fuck are you?
It's a big deal that he's coming back from MI1, because his character was like pretty important, but like not the most important character in that movie. There is that sequence where like Tom has to jump away from the water, which was like
red light,
the
green light.
the big action sequence where a fucking fish tank blows up, and he has
Which
to jump.
I don't know if you have heard about that. That apparently that is to this day one of the most dangerous stunts that Tom Cruise has ever done in any of these.
Yeah,
'Cause
more
he-
than hanging onto a fucking airplane.
I mean, I don't know if that's true, but apparently, whenever the bomb was going, they didn't know when it was going to happen, so they were worried like Tom Cruise might get his like ass fucking destroyed by glass while doing
because
this.
the
Like,
airplane thing is more like
he is like tied.
Yeah, it's
to
like
something,
there-
but he is also hanging
It's
onto
just-
a fucking airplane.
yeah, it's something no one would ever do, but like odds of him dying doing that are really low because it's just really odds of him like falling and getting hurt and like being scared. But yeah, that makes a lot of sense. The like a timing of a bombing. That's good triv.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and that scene is like iconic. That first movie's filled with iconic sequences.
That's
Obviously,
another one. The first
Langley
act of that movie is
dangling off the.
unbelievable.
And I
red
do-
light, green light.
Well, speaking of, you know, shouting out an oldie, because I love Zerny in this. I love Shea Wiggum in this.
Dude, I'm so glad that we talked about that we got to Shea Wiggum. He's unbelievable. He is
And
feasting
his
in
guy,
this movie.
Uh,
Greg Tarzan Davis
yeah.
from Maverick.
I love those two guys in this movie. Like, there are so many layers of conflict in this movie that it could be so easy for that to be like the fifth layer that you roll your eyes at every time it cuts to it.
Yeah, because it's dumb.
I was happy to see them. I was like, yeah, these guys are great.
Yeah.
Like, they're just doing their jobs.
Well, yeah, great. First of all, so his middle.
We're just gonna roll past.
I'm glad you were gonna say something there, Drew. Go ahead.
Is he one of the babies of the year? Fuck you, Greg Tarzan Davis.
Which by the way, did you guys see I don't remember what it was. Letterboxd did, like, they went to the red carpet and asked people what their top 4 movies were of all time.
Oh yeah, he was like Hitch.
He was like Hitch, Training Day, and it was somebody had a comment and they were like,
Dynamite. Was
yeah,
it him?
Napoleon Dynamite, Hitch,
Dang.
and Training Day, and then Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1. But somebody was just like, "Yo, my boy was out here in the $5 Walmart bin."
No, I respect it.
I was like, "Hey,
It's like-
dog, those were also my favorite."
Since
movies.
Ernie stepped away, this is the only time I'll be able to get this in. But it reminds me of how Brandon Miller,
Oh yeah, where he's just like, Paul George is my favorite NBA player.
well, and he also,
the
like-
best NBA player ever.
yeah, it's this guy who just got drafted 2nd overall in the NBA draft, and he's like, yeah, I don't know who Chris Middleton is, who's like a good NBA player that if you watched like 10 games, you would know who that is.
If you watched arguably like the first or second best player in the world, Giannis, you'd be like, who's the second best player on this team? And then see him.
I love it because people love to shit on people like that. Hey, and that's not that comparable because those are 4 good movies that he has in his top.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, Napoleon Dynamite's in my top. But I respect it because it's you know who didn't listen to music? Pixies.
It's true.
Damn.
Listen,
Bro's
it is one
spitting.
of those things where it's like it's more of just a funny thing than it is anything else. But Shea Wiggum, I've always loved that dude. I don't remember, we talked about a movie that had Shea Wiggum in it like in the last couple years, and I was like, man, love that guy and everything. Wish that he would be in more stuff. And when he showed up in this movie, I was worried that it was just going to be a 1 or 2 scene. He'd get like 3 lines of dialogue total and just be a throwaway nothing. He'd be like Rob Delaney in this movie. And he's like not an integral part of the movie, but he's like the 7th most important person in the cast. He's still in it. He's around. Him and his boy are just like trying to chase Ethan down. I think he's definitely going to come back in part 2 and be like an integral character.
Shay.
Yeah.
Apparently, he's the name Briggs, is it?
Briggs.
It
Briggs.
refers to the original show in some way.
Let's go.
That's what I heard.
He reminds
neat.
me. He reminds me a lot of Gary Sinise, which I truly could only ever mean as a compliment.
That's the highest praise that you can give to somebody.
Genuinely. You won't catch me saying that about anyone.
So
also in The Gray Man, Shea Wiggum.
I mean, Shay gets work, dude.
Yeah, he was actually in Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, he's Gwen's dad.
He was Gwen's dad. That's
He's
who he was.
fucking
Oh my
great.
God, yeah, he's unbelievable.
Yeah.
The year of Shea Wiggum.
Big year for Shay.
Let's nominate him for who won the year.
I mean, wouldn't be far off. Okay,
Who won July?
While I was taking a little pee break, I thought about how
can't say that.
sad and devastated I was that Rebecca Ferguson died in this movie. I started to weep.
So
Your eyes are puffy.
because this ties into that. One of the things I wanted to talk about. So Drew touched on it earlier on, but every woman who gets close to Ethan Hunt has to die.
Were you about to say Nick Cage?
No, but I'm the same rules apply here. Every woman who lathers yogurt on Ethan Hunt dies. With the notable exception of Michelle Monaghan,
gets free.
because he has to fake her death in order to actually get away from her and like let her live. I only picked up on it the second time that her and Ethan fuck in this movie. It's that one scene in Venice where they're on the rooftop and she goes, "I've never been to Venice." And he goes, "Me neither." And then you see them cut to them on the gondola looking back at each other. I have a question for you guys. Did she die because they fucked? And not just because everybody who has sex with Ethan dies, but you know how like boxers before they get into a fight don't have sex? Do you think it threw off her game? She was too much. It's like you aren't like you have to have the adrenaline.
No,
if you have that release, then like you're off.
She didn't have
You're a little
any
slow.
tea left.
I think the entity was like, look, you got a new Apple TV show on. It's called Silo. Dune Part 2's about to come out.
They're like, you're gonna have that like.
We don't know if you're gonna be in Dune Part 3 or not.
The Dune show, which may or may not ever come to.
You might have to pop into that one. You know, things might be looking up for you. You might need to get out of here.
I think that a big part of the reason that it works that she dies. Is,
bad times with the
what the fuck is this?
Did I accidentally leave you with that instead of this? Oops.
Ew. I thought that this was, I just looked at it and thought it was a grapefruit White Claw. This is a White Claw Surf Tropical Pomelo Smash.
Oh,
It's
ew.
pomelo.
Well, good luck with that.
I can smell it from here. I really don't want anything to do with that.
It smells and tastes like sunscreen.
Let's
so
go.
that's
Ew.
good. That's good for
Proper
us.
tone. As great as Haley Atwell is in this movie, I was upset that she represented the end of Ilsa Faust.
Did you
in
know?
ways.
At what point did you know?
That
were you
Ilsa
in
was
denial?
going to die?
Yeah, were you in
Well, there's
denial
a
until the
fake out
moment?
in the beginning where you think she's dead, and then it's like, oh, actually, she lives. So
I knew that. I knew
at
her
that
ass
point,
wasn't dead.
it put me on edge. I was like, uh-oh, if they're doing a fake out this early, I got to be ready. So
And then you introduce a new female character, and you're like, damn,
Yeah.
Haley Atwell's getting a lot of screen time right now.
She has great chemistry with Tom Cruise. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. Where's Ilsa? Where's mommy?
You're not. It's time for my mommy to take over. The thing is, it wouldn't, writ large, not just for the freaks like you. It wouldn't work as well if they weren't bringing we hadn't already met stepmommy.
Yeah.
But we already got to know her, and we were like, oh, she's good.
Stuck in the train.
Haley, like.
You just save me.
No, it's Tom saying that. He's like, I'm stuck in the window of the train.
Mommy?
Hey, that pantsuit. What was going on?
Man, that pantsuit goes hard.
It's like a vest.
She ate.
Oh,
Yeah.
brother, that is.
You can have that. I'll take the yellow dress from Rogue Nation.
Oh, okay, cool. I guess I'll be handcuffed to Haley Atwell. Ooh, oh no.
It's just like if they hadn't already if they hadn't already given us someone who I genuinely trust to like be in these movies, like her delivery is just broad enough. You know what I mean? She knows how to play to the back row while also still feeling like a character.
Yeah.
That you can't teach that. You can, but not a lot of people have that skill.
I mean, part of the casting process, I'm sure, was finding someone that had a natural ability to ride that line.
Haley Atwell, she's got it, man.
Yeah.
Like she has that, like the X factor. She's like a classic person that like Bill Simmons would be like, are we sure that like Haley Atwell shouldn't have had a better career? And it's like, yeah, women aren't allowed to star in movies even in 2023.
She had a child and then like couldn't act for a couple of years and then people forgot about it.
Yeah, and like 98% of movies still just star dudes. Like it's just,
I mean, I'm sure she's got money from Marvel.
Oh, she's paid as fuck.
So she's good. She's amazing in Black Mirror.
Yeah, she's in a great Black Mirror.
With Domhnall.
I'm sure she is because she's British.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's like a theater person too.
That makes sense.
I could be wrong.
No, she's definitely paid as fuck.
I mean,
but
she's
like
young.
It's just like
40.
she has like the X factor, like in a way that it is upsetting that we haven't seen her in more stuff.
She's 41.
Yeah,
I do
41, and she's looking great.
Be civilized.
Here's the thing. I was fine.
Gentlemen.
I was keeping it in my pants. But then when her and Tom Cruise start doing magic at each other, I fucking busted.
That shit was so fucking stupid.
That was it. No. Here's the thing.
That's yet another callback to the first movie.
Here's
Are
the
you
thing.
serious?
Drew,
Yeah.
here's the thing.
The close-up
Fuck off
magic.
right now. Go fuck yourself. Tom Cruise doing close hand magic is literally going to be the pinnacle of my 2023. That's the coolest thing. I don't care about him jumping off of a building. When Tom Cruise starts making
With the
shit
key.
appear and disappear in his hands, I was like, fuck yes.
Also,
can
he's,
Tom
like,
Cruise
flirting.
please get a residency in Vegas tomorrow and I will move there immediately and go every night.
It genuinely reminded me of like Now You See Me.
Yeah,
No.
if now you see me fucked, me specifically.
Come on.
All there is there a scene in Now You See Me where they're actually doing the
Well,
sleight
no,
of
that's the
hand?
big difference. Is that movie is so overtly like fake.
Yeah,
it sucks.
it's
so bad.
all CG.
but still. So
Tom
what happens
Cruise-
in the first one, magic wise?
So it's I think the big scene is like they steal the CD from the CIA and he like does the same little sleight of
does
hand
the-
trick with
Okay.
the CD.
Yeah.
So it's a callback. I see my takeaway was that like, and which I still think is true, is that McQuarrie is like a really good parent to like an autistic child where he's like he knows that Tom needs something to like figure out how to do all the time. He's like let me give you a fixation for the next like 3 days. You need to learn
He's
how
like,
to
can
do
I
this."
learn how to actually defuse a bomb?
You know,
defuse
you
a
might-
real life bomb.
you
I want to
might-
defuse a bomb. And he's like, no, how about I got this deck of cards for you though.
This might not be
Yeah,
far
right.
off because on the press tour, it is palpable how much more comfortable Tom is when McQuarrie is sitting right next to him.
Yeah, because
It is crazy.
no, yeah, because McQuarrie's like, hey Tommy, I got a new stunt for you to learn.
Like Tom is
They're
he's
just
so
best
much
buds.
he's so much more open. He's so much more like loose and talkative.
I know it's one of the only dynamics where like the director is way more human than the actor.
Listen, honestly though, I relate to it deeply because people see me outside this podcast studio and I'm like the most introvert person. I'm like,
Yeah, we're
I
Drew
don't
and
don't
Ernest.
meet people at their eye line.
I'm not doing autographs right
Yeah,
now. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
It's listen.
So I was very sad that Ilsa Faust died, and I was.
It was a bummer.
I'm still not consoled.
Incredible sequence though. That whole
Yeah.
scene
And
is
yet
so good.
Again, another callback to the first movie. I was emotionally prepared to lose her. I didn't like it, but that's how the first literally the first major sequence of the first movie is Ethan's entire team gets
Yeah.
killed.
It does the alien thing where it's like this is going to be a team movie, and apparently that's how it was advertised back in 1986, which is so cool that there's like this is a team up movie, and in the first act, 40 minutes in, the entire team's dead except for Ethan Hunt.
Yeah. So
Rules
it's like
so hard.
It's a callback to that, to losing like people, you know Ethan is close to. And then just the way it's shot with her with a fucking sword.
Yeah, they're fencing.
Incredible.
She is wearing the puffy shirt from Seinfeld. She's dressed like a pirate.
the way that Well, so is Haley Atwell later.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Haley.
They're
I'm
both just
thinking of.
giving-
One of them in that scene is wearing like a comical pirate costume
Yeah.
for no reason.
No, it is Haley.
Yeah.
Because Ilsa has like, it's more of like a kimono, like
You're right.
Japanese type.
So this, I agree that like it works on that level very well. And it's like it's fun action to watch. It does like it did make things pop up in my head again of what I was bumping on with Gabriel, with the villain, because
What is happening? with him?
well, because generally we know him to be, he's going into like a passenger's style, like, you know what I mean? Like a tank where he is then like fed straight data from the entity.
Yeah.
So he is getting all of the info on like what the entire future holds, is what I'm led to believe. So is that why he knows every like move to make sword fighting her?
Yeah.
Because
It's like dead.
So she has a signature move in these two movies, which is almost like she like climbs up and then fucking like tackles
And
the
he
dude with her legs.
neutralizes it
Yeah, and just like
immediately.
from the minute she tries to do it, he just like throws her to the ground.
Yeah. Well, it's just because we find like we see like the real like the machination of him like going into that tank and coming out of it later in the movie. We don't see it before this sequence. And so watching the sequence, I was sort of like, I know that like he generally knows, like he knew to show up at that bridge because the entity told him to, but it's like, maybe this guy is just a good sword fighter. I don't fucking know him.
Right.
Yeah,
We barely know.
I don't know who the
anything.
fuck this guy is. So maybe that's it, or maybe maybe every move was fed to him, and you know what I mean, by the entity. But that's intense to imagine. Like I want to know more about his relationship with the entity through this like connection system that they have.
I do wonder if we're going to get more in part 2, or if that's just going to be kind of left to
I don't know. Well,
the imagination. I almost think it might be better if that is left to the imagination.
That's
I
fair.
don't want that to be too elaborated.
So
on.
here's
he
the-
like sees
I
it's
know.
like a dev situation if he sees the action before it
I don't think
happens.
I want to see a visualization of what it's like for him in there. I you know what I mean, based on how they're visualizing the entity in general. However, my biggest question with the entity that I maybe I missed, but so the central conflict for Ethan emotionally going into the third act is that he is not allowed to kill Gabriel, because Gabriel is the only one who knows what the
key-
entity. Yeah,
The key unlocks.
why do we care what the key unlocks? We already know that the key.
Because it depends on who, if it falls into if it falls into literally any other hands, they're going to actually try to harness that power.
Well, no,
and
but the
harness
thing
the
is,
AI for
so
their
but
advantage.
the thing is, we already know that. Like we are.
Well, that's what I was getting at earlier. That was part of my point that I didn't get to earlier, is that the opening scene of the movie. Remember how I said that originally that was not in the cut?
Yeah.
That was a part 2 scene that they decided to put as the opening of this movie. That creates a lack of dramatic tension in the entire movie, where throughout the course of literally this entire 2.5-2:45 long movie, we know what Ethan finds
we know
out
what the Sebastical is.
in the last scene. We already know from the start. So
like, yeah, it's so exactly. It created a big bump for me, because I cannot, like, Ethan knows going into the third act, he's like, yeah, I want to destroy. I don't care what's in the entity. I want to destroy it. Well, then why keep Gabriel alive? Kill him. You already have your mind made up about destroying the fucking thing.
Well, no, because if he doesn't shut down the entity, the fear is that the entity is going to grow to a point it can find another Gabriel. I think
So
that is the fear.
I think
because
they
it's going to keep
explain-
growing literally at this
I know, but it's just
rate
like
that
it's
somebody
just
else
so
will
it's just
submit.
like, if you have the option and you might as well, like, what is Gabriel going to give him?
He doesn't know where the sub is.
Exactly.
Now if he figures out the pinpoints of this is where the sub is, then he's like, he
I know,
could just kill
but
Gabriel.
the
But he doesn't
stake-
know that at the time.
But the stake that we're given isn't he knows where, it's he knows what it unlocks. But like, we already know enough about what the entity can do that we're already scared of it. Like, we're already like, yeah, no, it can control like everything. It can do anything. So like, what's left to find out about what it can do?
Well,
I don't get it.
So the scene at the beginning of the movie where with all the intelligence people, with Rob Delaney and Chris Parnell and all those people, they mention in that scene that they don't know what the key unlocks, but they know that whatever it unlocks is the way to control it. They want to control it. And Ethan is there the whole time wearing a mask, listening to that.
I know. So it's just sort of
So
like
he knows that he needs to get to whatever the key
He has to
the
know
lock
where
that
it
it
is and get
unlocks.
that
that's the,
information.
I know.
what
So
it
I guess I'm
controls
just
it.
upset with how they kept phrasing it over and over. Then is they should have been like, Gabriel knows how to control it, as opposed to like what it unlocks implies like he knows the full implications, when the implications have been very clearly laid out to us the entire
the
Well,
other
fucking
they've
movie.
been laid out to us, but they haven't been laid out to the characters in
Yes,
the story.
they have. Like, well, just I mean, the base level of what the entity's already done and can do is laid out in that scene where it's like, yeah, it can manipulate the truth. It can get into any World Bank account. It can change data. That's enough to make Ethan want to destroy it.
Right.
So
like he doesn't know how to destroy.
I know
it.
that's so. Then they should have said how, not what. I guess it's just
the
like
other
I was like,
key-
what? Like, why do we care what it unlocks? Whatever it is, Ethan wants it gone.
Well, that's part of why this movie's a little shaggy, because you can see the stitching of like
Exactly.
they shoot all these elaborate sequences. They go to Venice, they go to Abu Dhabi, they go to fucking Norway, and then they have to figure out how to make it all click together.
No.
And something like Fallout, it's seamless. And in this, it's like, oh, okay, I can kind of see you doing the effort of like connecting one thing to the next.
Yeah, and
but-
so I guess, I mean, also you're right that first scene is really integral to like this working versus partially working. However, I still think it's the right move to put that scene in the movie. Like, despite this
otherwise then
becoming
it's
a
just
problem
a
for me.
key that we don't know what it is.
Yeah, and
I
like
do wonder though, maybe we do still we know that we don't know it's a submarine.
Well,
Maybe we like just see it working and we are able to use some other system so we have a visual
Some
of it.
kind
It's
of
this
bunker.
bomb looking bunker
Yeah.
thing,
Well,
but we
that'll-
don't know what it is until we find out
No.
that it is a submarine.
Well, you know,
or something.
you know when we would find out really in the original script, I guarantee
it's
you.
the Carrie Elwes scene on the train.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to bring up.
Or
is That's where the reveal comes, when you see that Carrie Elwes is on the train and him and Gabriel talk about the sinking of the submarine.
Well, and even or even in an original draft of the movie, I think it might even be when Clementif is dying and her last gasp.
that would have been so good.
Yeah, if at the very
That would've been
if
fucking-
you're like, where the fuck is this thing? And she's like, submersible.
That's what I was. Yeah,
I would have
that's
been,
when
I would have
it's-
been like, let's fucking
Yeah, like
go!
that. Well, so that's I would bet you that's like sort of a vestigial
Yeah.
appendage of when
But
it
they must
originally
have
was.
tested. They must have tested the movie,
and
enough.
people are just like, I need to know what or
Yeah, it's
where
like,
this
I
is.
can't-
I
need-
can't
I need
sit
some
through
air
2.5
enough.
hours without like knowing something.
So it's in a submarine. It's underground. It
can fool people into warping their reality, which is also shown in the scene where Ethan is running through the alleys and he has to. He doesn't.
no, that was really
Simon
cool.
Pegg.
Yeah, that was great.
The voice of
That
Simon
was-
Pegg.
That gave me shivers.
No,
I was like,
honestly,
ugh.
that is like the scariest depiction of AI because that could just happen like tomorrow. Like people can do that right
I know.
now with
that was well done.
our voices.
I-
like it's
The other day I wept because I thought that Joe Biden was playing Call of Duty with Donald Trump.
God, like tears of joy. You're like, man, they crossed the line.
I know.
I thought that Trump and Martin Luther King Jr. had lunch at a diner.
You know what's wild? I thought that Plankton from SpongeBob did a cover of "You Somebody" by Kings of Leon, and I found out that he didn't.
I thought that Plankton was doing a System of a Down cover band.
I really
And
thought
I was-
that
I was sure.
Johnny Cash released a cover of "I'm a Barbie Girl" in a Barbie world.
I felt just like Ethan.
Man,
when I
you're
found that
just
shit
like
out.
Ethan there.
I was like,
just
damn,
like,
my life is a movie.
We skip past the first like set piece of the movie of the Abu Dhabi sequence.
The airport.
The airport.
It's really
that
good.
shit rocks. It's so cool. That is one where it's just like
It's simple,
I think that
yet elaborate.
I almost think that this movie it might have given us too much Gabriel. Like it gave us too much Gabriel backstory, where the way that the AI is protecting Gabriel in these sequences is so cool.
Yeah.
Where it's deleting him in real time from every
That shit was
security
awesome.
damage.
That was
everything.
great. The sub action plot of Simon Pegg having to defuse that nuke that isn't actually a nuke. It was very
well done.
It was really well done.
They have to like sneak and like ask
Ving
Ethan for
Rhames.
help without telling
and
him.
it also plays into the idea that McQuarrie is just like making games out of this shit at this point because he's already so good at normal action that
Yeah.
he's like, how do I do like two actions at the same?
Same time.
But it led me to question the efficacy of this AI. It's like, is this really the smartest thing to do? Where it's like, oh no, it's learning that I love my friends. Like, is that really the best use of your time as an AI? Like, why?
People have been preying on our boy Simon Pegg for being a weak boy in these movies. Unfortunately, go back to Rogue Nation.
I think it's also just like it's again back to that intelligence meeting where they talk about how it leaves fingerprints in all of these digital files.
I get
it just wants you to know that it knows.
I know that's another question I have. Why? Like,
because it wants you to consider every outcome without wanting to know exactly where it's headed.
And I think that leaving things like fingerprints for certain bodies, like for military or for countries and stuff like that, they see that motivates them to want to race to control it and
That's the
to
thing.
feed it more power.
Yeah. So the number one move is, I think the right read is that it's like chaos creation because the entity, but we're still,
where's J. Robert Oppenheimer when you need him?
we're still a little unclear on what ultimately the entity wants to do. Right.
The thunder.
Man, I was going to say, you said his name and the thunder just came.
Like, I can't say Oppenheimer one more time. I've already said it twice.
You should jack up the exposure for this part of the video.
Oh,
Jack it up and like get some like shit peeling off our faces. Yeah, but that's ultimately my question, because like typically whenever, that's sort of a trope in like espionage or criminal movies, is someone like intentionally leaving a trace just to be like, yeah, fuck you.
Yeah.
But that's usually
smarter.
Well, that's the thing. It's every single time that's depicted, it's ego based. It's because the person wants to flaunt. So my question with the entity is like, does it have an ego? Does it have does it have that much of a sense? Because it is motivated to do something here. Like it has enough of a self to want to disrupt the entire earth. What does it want? And I guess it's good that we don't know, because I want to watch the second one.
Yeah. Well, that's true. I feel like it's one of those things where as people, I mean, and maybe this is like theorizing for something that would be confirmed in the second one, but I think that it does feed off of chaos. The more people try to want to control it and want to harness it, it gains more power. It learns more about those who are trying to control it.
If its goal is to just like cause like war, then that's what you would do. But also you would do a lot more than that. So yeah, it's just it all sort of comes down to like, what is it trying to fucking do ultimately then?
Well, I mean, theoretically, if an AI did become sentient, it would want to ensure its own survival.
That's what I mean about it's trying. The more that people want to control it, the more powerful it becomes, because it learns to combat those things. So
yeah, and it knows, this is one of the coolest concepts I think in any action movie I've ever seen. This AI knows that the only person who can fucking stop it is Ethan Hunt.
Yeah, dude.
It
sees a
Messiah
future.
himself.
So really,
He wins.
just about everything that this AI does is about Ethan Hunt. And you would think that there would be some way for it to just like snipe him very quickly.
Which, you could, in this movie,
Gabriel could just like pull out a gun and kill him like at any point.
Just, yeah. If it's such a
But
concern,
also that's every movie ever.
I know. It's just that is such an awesome fucking like coalescing of plot, is like this fucking all-knowing thing. It knows enough to know that this fucker is good.
It's once again, it's tying into Fast X, where the messianic nature of these stories is
Vin
becoming
against
so insane.
Okay, I'm
And now-
I'm back to not wanting to watch it.
Well, no. That hasn't become overt in Fast, but it's heavily.
It's teetering there.
It's
Okay, but Mission Impossible basically already is there.
So there's so much I want to say here because this is Ethan Hunt against Peacock's
Are we
Mrs.
gonna pick up all this like thunder on the mics here? It's gonna.
I hope
I don't know. You know, we're gonna pick up as you fucking saying that.
Yeah, well, okay, good. I hope so. I want people to know how dangerous it is recording this right now.
Hey, if we
We're outside.
we're
actually. I'm holding a lightning rod as
if we
we're recording
lose
this.
electricity, we will continue to stay recording.
Yeah.
I have a battery powered setup.
Yeah, this is all
are
analog.
You analog? Yeah. Dude, is the
We're typing
the
out
entity
on
is not
typewriters.
listening to this conversation right now,
Yeah.
is what you're saying.
You know who figured
on-
out how to do all that? Ving Rhames.
We're on VHS tapes and cathode ray tubes right now.
Yeah.
We're using
No.
an old weather satellite to
Yeah.
forecast this out to you listeners.
What I was gonna say is that like this movie is Ethan Hunt against Peacock's Mrs. Davis. Because that
All right, I'm back out on Mrs.
No,
Davis.
Top 10 takes that only Ernest would be able to give.
Number 4.
that show is about AI as God. And that's essentially who Ethan is battling. It's essentially God. Gabriel, the angel. Are you fucking kidding
The
me?
Archangel.
Yeah, like
Cruciform key.
yes,
It's all over.
it's all over. So
Whenever Tom Cruise jumps off a plane, he is making a little hanging on the cross there as he's dying for our sins.
So I think that, you could go into Mission Impossible 7 and expect yet another fucking villain that wants nuclear weapons, or you could have it be Ethan versus God. And that's how they do it. That's with this AI subplot. And I think it's fascinating.
Yeah.
And I'm really curious to see how they resolve it in part 2.
They literally already, like, they call it God in part 1. Like, Gabriel calls it God.
Right.
It's God.
Exactly. And I'm also curious, like, if, what they're going to do with the Ethan Hunt character, because, we did mention earlier, like, is Tom Cruise going to make more of these movies? But for all intents and purposes, like, it looks like Ethan is going to have to sacrifice himself to save the
That's
world.
the thing, because
At the bottom of the sea.
he has to kill this thing. I am most curious to find out how deep it's going, because it's set up the ultimate question as being like, what is it? That means that whatever the ultimate visualization of this thing is has to be kind of striking, right? Like, it's not how.
I would
it's
be shocked if part 2 leaned into that. I think part 2, if McQuarrie is smart, and I know he is, part 2 is not going to worry too much about that. It's going to be more about, like, we're going to do a skiing stunt. We're going to do a snowmobile stunt.
well, I do think
Have they done a snow?
No.
I will
there we
say,
go.
Like, that's the priority.
I'm
have they
willing-
gone underwater?
I am
He
going-
did briefly in Rogue.
Rogue Nation, he holds his breath for I think it's 6.5 minutes.
He's gonna-
Oh,
he's
yeah.
gonna-
So here's the thing. I am taking bets right now on this right now. I
7
just want you
minutes.
guys to know. No, so
It's going to be at least 12.
who was it? Who was it in Avatar?
Kate Winslet.
Kate Winslet held her breath for 12.5 minutes on set. Tom Cruise is going for the record.
She did not hold her breath for 12.5 minutes on set.
By all accounts, according to the entire cast and crew, Kate
No,
Winslet held her
Not,
breath for
not
No.
according to the final cut of that movie.
Hunter, what is the longest you've ever held your breath?
like, I don't know, like 17, 18 minutes.
She didn't.
Listen,
She did not.
I'm just saying, Tom Cruise is holding his breath for 14 to 25 minutes.
I feel like David Blaine did like barely scratch 12.5 minutes when he did that.
How long did look at Ernie? You're
7.
7 minutes. Okay, it was 7.
No
minutes.
way! No, she
Kate
didn't.
Winslet held her breath for 7 minutes on the set.
That's like Olympic level. No, she did fucking not.
I'm telling you, this is what literally people who were there who are reporting this are saying is that Kate Winslet did this.
No,
Tom Cruise is beating that. I'm telling you right now. I'm taking bets right now. I'll give you minus 110 odds.
Tom did 6 for Rogue.
Yeah. So that means Kate Winslet can do 7. Like, that's fine.
And he really did 6, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Of course course, it's Tom
Yes,
Cruise.
the problem with that sequence is that it does cut. It's not a continuous shot, but yes.
he did hold his breath for 6 minutes. So Tom is at least going for 8 then.
He's gonna not only is he gonna do a breath hold record, he's gonna do a deep.
Yeah, he's gonna dive.
Yeah,
and then hold
a
breath.
depth record.
He needs to break. So I guess I underestimated. Lungs.
Okay,
I still there's.
I don't know. I can hold my breath for like almost 2 minutes.
That's what I'm saying though. Is like
it's
while you're
it's
on
doable.
the driving
if I really
range,
trained myself,
when you're like really like feeling
it's
I
not
just
like
see how many hits I can get in one breath
it's
hold.
just the question is like why would she? They didn't do a oneer of her
an Avatar.
Of her holding her breath for.
Also, she is a fully animated character. They don't need.
She's like, James, check this out. Will I get more lines now? And he's like, maybe.
So the world record, which he needs to beat, is 24 minutes
He will beat it.
and 37.
Is that
the
the bet?
entire third act is him underwater. It's all a wonder. McQuarrie just has like an oxygen tank just sitting there, like, yeah, go for it.
It'd be funnier if it's not a oneer, but he does. They do.
Well, that's
shoot
what
it.
they did in Rogue.
Yeah, like
He actually does hold his breath for
they
6
cut
minutes, but
away.
they cut.
Well, okay, no.
Because the fucking crew couldn't be down there. For
I need to get in my huge prediction for part 2. In the first movie.
Oh, this has been confirmed. Your take. I don't know if you saw. This has actually been confirmed.
Okay, good.
Your take.
I'll say it. So in the first movie, there's a guy, this CIA analyst. I forget his name.
The one from the iconic Langley scene, who is working in the room.
The iconic scene
room.
where Tom is dangling off the wire, just levitating an inch off the floor. There's a guy that's supposed to be in that room that they like poison to go throw up in the bathroom so that Tom can do that. He's just an analyst at the CIA. He's a nobody. And he gets in trouble for being in the bathroom puking while Tom is in there stealing the knock list on the CD. Mm-hmm. And there's a moment in the first movie where Kittredge and another CIA guy say that they're going to send him to a radio tower in Alaska and that they want his clothes mailed to him. They want him immediately in a radio tower.
I want him in a radio
Alaska.
tower in Alaska by the end of the day.
And he's coming back for part 2 to help Ethan or be an adversary in his quest.
What if that's the
yet.
true Gabriel? Is that fucker? He's like, you ruined my life.
What do we want to predict? So this guy is confirmed. He is confirmed in the movie.
I heard that he was definitely like, I don't know if it was McQuarrie or who it was, said that this guy is coming back.
Do we think he's going to help Ethan or
He's
be
gonna help
an
Ethan.
obstacle?
He'll help him.
Even though Ethan is the reason why he ended up
I think he's gonna like find.
Alaska.
I think that man like found love with a bear or something up there, and he's good now.
With a bear?
Yeah, I don't know what's in Alaska.
He should still be naked when like part 2 starts. He's just like, like shivering,
cold.
I'm excited for this.
No,
This guy,
I'm excited for it
guy.
too.
Should they bring back like more? Should they bring back like Renner, Thandie Newton? I'm
gonna be honest, it's been a little bit since I've seen MI2. What, she doesn't die in 2, does she? Yeah, she's still fully alive.
Yeah.
So they could bring her back if they wanted to.
Yeah.
I think Renner's
Westworld
definitely
is
gonna come
over.
back. I actually think
available.
if I were to make a prediction, some people think Angela Bassett is the new leader of MI.
She was supposed to be
IMF.
in this movie before COVID. She was set
she just
to
like
be
dropped
in the movie.
out.
She couldn't. They couldn't fly her out to Europe.
No, so the previous leader of IMF was Alec Baldwin, which, by the way, I don't even know if I should say this on a podcast, but there's a line reading in Mission Impossible Fallout where Alec Baldwin grabs a gun and he says, "Oh wait, this one's loaded," and points it at somebody, which aged so bad. Aged like fucking milk in the Florida summer.
He does die in that movie though. So he's
I watched that line reading and was like, oh brother, oh boy, that's a tough one. He dies in Fallout.
Listen, He's great though in these movies.
Yes.
No, he's incredible. He's so
awesome.
good. Honestly, him and Rogue Nation in the sequence where they are the prime minister scene is him just delivering. I don't remember. I sent a
like the living
screenshot.
manifestation of destiny.
Yeah, Ethan Hunt is the living manifestation of destiny.
He's
feeding off of these fucking just chewing on these lines.
he's a really good ham. He's
there's
a top tier ham.
There's a Shea Wiggum quote in this movie that's like on that same level. It's not on the IMDb quotes page yet, but it's something like he's like an unstoppable agent of chaos or something like that.
It's so good. Then this dialogue is the best.
And then Tarzan is like, I don't know, man. I kind of like the guy.
Yeah. Whose side are you on here?
Well, when it comes to the end of the world,
Part 2, Tarzan is joining the damn force.
But I think there's some people who think that Angela Bassett is going to take over the IMF. I think Renner is the new leader of the IMF, and he comes back next.
in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
I want him in a wheelchair post
Just for-
snowmobile
I
accident.
want him in a wheelchair.
Can they tie
Ernie,
the
I don't know if you
accident
can say that.
to the plot of the
Ernie
movie?
is totally flipped on Renner.
Ernie is
He's like,
dead ass.
listen, I know he can walk. I want him in a fucking wheelchair.
That's what the fucking snowplow said.
Jesus Christ.
Did you see that they did like a Disney Plus special on his like,
What?
recovery?
What? They did?
Yeah.
I guess like
it literally looks like
I think
a bit
that
from
only
The Boys.
I think that only shows up for you on your For You page on Disney Plus.
like that's totally something.
It was automatically blocked for me. I did watch his god awful fucking house flipping show.
Say the name. Say its name.
Renovation.
Renovation.
I watched an episode of that with friend of the pod Colin, and
It's awesome.
well, it was on in the background while we talked.
Did you
and,
clock how many times it cuts to him doing music in that first episode?
so good.
And it's like, why?
It's
Can you not just do
incredible.
one fucking thing, man? Like, Jesus.
Oh, okay. I found the quote.
Same.
So Shea Wiggum describes him as a mind-reading, shape-shifting incarnation of chaos.
That's really good.
Let's
That
go.
kicks ass.
Yeah.
Couple thoughts before we wrap this, because I could feel us getting to the end.
I
here.
wanted to shout out the train again. Were you
Well,
about
I
to
want
go
to talk
there?
about I want to talk about the third act. I have another trivia fact for you guys. So, and it worked out for the best of this movie. The very first scene that we see Rebecca Ferguson in, when she's in the desert, the sniping scene,
eye patch,
the eye patch.
sex.
So it fucking rules. There's a reason why
Hot.
she's wearing an eye patch. Rebecca Ferguson can't blink.
Mhm.
I don't
one
give
eye.
a shit. She looks hot as fuck.
Can't
No,
can't
honestly, she can't wink. That's it. She can't blink. Her eyes always open. No, she can't wink of one eye. And that's like a happy accident where it looks so much fucking cooler that she has an eye patch on.
Makes me even sadder.
Is that
she
the
doesn't
horniest that you were in the movie, was seeing her all sandy with an eye
live.
patch
Oh,
on?
I'm getting all
Yeah,
bothered.
you're
up
getting
right
hot and
now.
bothered. I can see it. We haven't talked about
How many
Speaking
how
of
many
hot
people
bothered.
can't close one eye?
I don't believe it. She's doing
Apparently-
that for promotional purposes.
No, apparently it's a thing. I've heard a couple other
I know,
people
that's the
say
thing
that they
is
can't
I've heard a lot of
wink, and I'm
people-
like, I don't know. It's
All you have
pretty
to
fucking
do is
easy.
practice. Just train your eye to do it. It'll
I don't
do
know.
it.
It's like
It's
some
called
people can't-
Riz.
Yeah.
Like you can't
Either
get
you got it or you not.
yeah, you cannot pick up ladies without winking.
Speaking of
several
people that I'd
times.
like to wink at, we
Haley.
barely talked about Palm Clementif in this movie,
She's
who's
great.
like one of the MVPs in every scene that
she's
in.
she's in the middle of like
Just
Mad Max
vibing.
Fury Road.
Dude.
This whole movie.
Fucking rule. Her character's so cool. You just see her in a scene like pop out that she has a sword and shit, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
this is so
It's
fucking
so-
cool, so badass.
It's so great how like you get to the end of Guardians 3 and you're like, really? Her character's getting phased out? What is she gonna do? And then you see this movie and you're like, oh,
Yeah, it's like,
She has
oh,
a whole
'cause
career
she doesn't have to
ahead of
just be
her.
like play clueless
yeah, she
fucking
can do a lot.
alien creature person, whatever Mantis is in those movies.
Listen, she's better than fucking Nebula.
Sure.
Nebula, worst actress in the MCU.
Hey man.
Hey.
She's that character sucks.
Well, I think
Her-
I think
her
it's more
joke-
so the character than it is
Her joke
her.
line reads, she blows them, man.
Here's the
like,
thing.
she blows those.
I'm gonna be
jokes.
honest. I don't blame or credit anybody in Marvel for what they are. At this point, I've just accepted that they're all part of a machine.
I wanted to
What's
shout
her
out
name?
Karen Gillian.
Yeah.
Shout out Doctor Who heads.
She's in the new Jumanji, right?
Yeah.
I haven't seen this, but
Back to the train. Who is an Uncharted 2 fan? Is it McQuarrie or Tom Cruise?
definitely McQuarrie. Tom Cruise has never played a video game once.
Okay,
in his life.
good.
Yeah.
Because literally,
Tom Cruise actually, if you're a Scientologist, you're not allowed to play a video game.
They lower his T.
So at some point, someone played Uncharted 2 and they were like, we need to do that. And that's what they did. Because literally that whole sequence of the train slowly crashing and having to jump from one car to the other. That's
honestly, I thought that some people have complained about the way that scene looks.
It's fucking incredible.
Maybe it's just because we saw it in Dolby or something. No, because you know what? I saw it again. And it looks fucking incredible. I don't care what people talk about.
I love the moment where before the train crashes, where they go under the tunnel and he's fighting.
The sound design.
Oh my God,
we haven't talked about
good.
our boy Lorne Balfe yet.
I still think the high point for Lorne is
Fallout score is unbelievable, but it's still
it's great
his score is incredible in here. I thought the sound design throughout this movie is spectacular.
Yeah. Love the Venice club scene.
I am sad that because of Barbie and Oppenheimer that this is leaving Dolby screening so soon.
Yeah,
because it's so good, so good,
dude. Barbie. The fucking screenings are all sold out.
We were going to go to an earlier showing, or we were going to go actually yesterday as of recording this pod.
The blowout party.
It's sold out in
Yeah.
in a 200-person theater. It's sold out. So instead, Guy and I are going to a 10 o'clock showing. It's going to be
10 p.m.
Yeah, it's going to be a post
Party.
apps and drinks movie screening for
Nice.
us. No, the whole train sequence is so fucking cool. It's so good. It's
Very well done.
It's so well done. The moving in between carts is so cool.
Oh, real quick, I wanted to shout out from the Wikipedia again, the whole controversy of the Polish government getting involved.
Destroying a bridge.
Yeah, because McQuarrie wanted to blow up an actual bridge, and then he got in trouble with
because he was trying to blow up a 1,000-year-old bridge.
It became an international incident that they were going to try to blow up this bridge, and he was like, "Hey, they told me that it was an old bridge that needed improvement because it wasn't safe, so they needed to blow it up anyway. So might as well shoot a movie." And it was a whole thing. I think there's a lot in this sequence that is very digital, and you can tell that a lot of it wasn't shot on location, but it still looks better than anything I've seen, maybe ever.
Just let him blow up the fucking bridge.
Who cares? Fuck your history.
I know. I'm surprised that they had time to stop him when they were all too busy trying to screw in a light bulb together. This Polish people.
What is that a thing?
The classic
fucking Polish.
This country, there was a time when different types of white people were made fun of classically.
Man,
and,
those were the
they
days.
did actually.
We got to go back.
They were able to actually propel a locomotive off a cliff. It looks like
so cool. I fucking love McQuarrie so much. That's so not needed, but it adds so much. They're like, no, we did. Don't worry, guys. I know you were worried about the bridge. We couldn't do that, but we are gonna still drive a
somewhere
$100,000
somewhere in the United Kingdom. Where is Stony Middleton? Any Stony Middleton heads out there?
Stony Middleton.
So in the district of Derbyshire, England.
Derbyshire.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
When are they gonna fucking give up?
Here's the thing: as somebody who woke up this morning early to watch the Open Championship,
Hey, let's go.
Had some nice coffee golf this morning as I was making a pot roast for the day.
When are you gonna get a putting green in your backyard?
Well, not in my backyard. But
Hunter-
let me tell you what,
Hunter
Prime
has-
Day just happened.
Hunter has purchased a putting green.
And I did want to work on my 6 to 8 footers. So Ernie,
And
the answer is yes.
And I have purchased a series of chipping targets of different sizes.
Ernie, you just have to hop on this train, okay?
I'm on the train.
Hey,
You can't do it in here. We need this space.
What if we do an episode of the pod where it's just us like talking about our golf game?
Mm-hmm.
I'll be like, here's the thing. I do always hit 3 strokes over what the par is, but I'm hoping to get better.
I know. I want to tell the world I hit my first damn bird the other night.
Oh, look at that.
That's
I was
huge.
there. I witnessed it. I saw it.
Huge.
Honestly, probably before I hit my first par. I think that was lit. I hit that shit.
Two, a drive and a putt, and that's it.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, what'd you hit? It was like a 3 off the tee.
I don't have a 3. It was a 5, and I hit it, and it was already dark out because me and Hunter like sneak onto the course in the evenings, and I was like,
Don't say where.
and I said, I hope I find that.
It's
'cause
fine.
that
It's
felt
a
like
public golf course. I don't think that
No,
the
they
city
don't
of
give a
Winter Park
shit.
gives a shit.
Yeah, I was like, I hope I find that because that felt really good, and I found that bitch on the damn green, flushed it.
Good job.
Probably not gonna happen for like another month or so.
Got to work on your
But
game.
one day.
Got to get that grip down.
Shit's hard, man.
What do we think Tom's golf game is like?
I don't think he's ever played.
I don't think so either, but I do think that if Tom Cruise put forth like 2.5 weeks, he could play on like the what do you call it? The tour for old people.
Tom Cruise.
The like elders tour.
Tom Cruise is incapable of doing
The AARP tour.
active things that like don't endanger his life.
Yeah,
There's nothing about golf that's like inherently like
it's not enough
dangerous.
cardio.
Tell that to like all the golfers who are in their like late 30s who have the worst back troubles because they've just been snapping their spines for the last 20 years.
It's a slow burn death of with golf.
Tom Cruise should become a running back in the NFL.
I-
You know he's missing
once he
concussions.
hits 75.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can do it. All right. Any more thoughts on Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1?
I did want to say one quick thing. This is notably the first Mission Impossible movie to be shot digitally,
Fully
digitally.
Yeah. Do we think Part 2 will be fully filmed?
Here's the thing. I actually think it will because I think that that's going to be like a meta commentary on we're getting back to analog to get away from the AI.
Yeah. The entity.
That's
it by shooting
at
on
least
film.
a theory that I have in my head right now. I don't know if that will come to pass.
I think the only thing keeping us from that is that they've already shot like 70% of the movie.
And did they even know the story of the first Mission Impossible while they were making Part 2 set
Apparently,
pieces?
we're getting Part 2 next summer.
I'm gonna go ahead and put that at like
a double strike happening.
I'm gonna put that
right
like
now.
7-1 odds that actually comes to pass for next year. I think that there's like a near 0% chance based on how much our boy Chris McQuarrie likes to improvise dialogue and sequences on the day of. I'm gonna say that that's probably not gonna happen.
They can't shoot anything right now because of the strike, and apparently they still have a major action sequence to film. So I could see it getting pushed at least to like end of 24. We'll see how this strike goes.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully with the buzz of A24. I don't know if you guys saw any of that stuff that might come to pass, that A24 might agree to all of SAG's things so that SAG could make basically an injunction to only exclusively make A24 movies.
That's fucking crazy.
Which,
I did not hear about that.
That's lit.
So that would basically overnight make A24 like the most powerful movie studio in the world.
That's so nice.
They make they make Guardians 4.
Who knows if that's going to come to pass, but like that would
the Marvels.
I think that something like that, a studio like A24 or Neon, somebody that's considered quote unquote independent, those are going to be the people who could possibly end the strike sooner rather than later, because if they agree to the terms, then they kind of are going to make the Netflixes and the Paramounts kneel to whatever they're going to do, because otherwise, guess who's having movies come out next summer? A24 and not fucking Universal or Netflix. So,
we'll see.
TBD.
All right.
That's
we
cool.
can wrap it up there. Thank you all for listening. Thank you, Tom Cruise.
Thank you, Tom,
for being a
saving
fucking
the
crazy
movies.
person.
People were upset about the tracking of this movie. To be honest, this is about what I kind of figured it's going to be. It's going to like crack to like 150 domestic, and then it'll still.
It didn't
be a
have the
profitable
full
worldwide.
Top Gun effect that I think people were hoping it would. But hey, it's a great movie.
It's a banger.
Love
it.
Yeah. Thanks, Chris McQuarrie, too. Keep
you,
on
Chris.
keeping on, Chris. Keep doing your thing. Yeah. And thank you all. Please rate, review, subscribe, like, and comment. Let us know your thoughts. Check out weboughtamic.net to get every episode in your inbox. Join the Discord. Donate. Thank you, beautiful donors, for donating. Next week, it's Barbenheimer. I am seeing some reports of folks that have tried to go to 35 millimeter, 70 millimeter screenings of Oppenheimer, and things have not gone well. Just browsing through Twitter, just people we don't have the infrastructure to do physical film projections.
Yikes.
A lot of trouble.
Well, glad we saw it.
So yeah, we saw a 70 millimeter print and it looked fucking great. There was no trouble, no sound trouble, no picture trouble. So I feel like we got lucky because I am seeing some issues. So if you're out there, stay safe. Pat your fellow.
There are riots going on.
Pat your fellow projectionist who saw the Regal promo and said, I do want to actually get my career started in the movie industry. So I will apply to Regal movie theaters and get paid $12.50 an hour.
If you see the 600-pound 11-mile film reels
they're really
going around.
You're right. They're not getting paid enough to have to deal with this shit.
They should strike.
Yeah, you literally, their thing is that they go up and they press like play on a MacBook Pro. Like that's what you do right now.
We'll talk Oppenheimer and Barbie next time. And then beyond that, it's going to start to wind down as we wind up to start our Tom.
This was like, honestly, this is like table setting.
Yeah.
It's like a little meal. It's like when you have dessert before dinner.
Yeah. Next week, A Man Called Otto. We're setting that table.
Bye.
Bye.